Hi all, this is Emma from Plan, Inspire, Create, and today I'm going to be evaluating whether I achieved my 90-day goals. So I cannot believe I am at the end of another 90-day cycle. I think this is my third run through the planner now. I'm using my Just 90 planner, which is my planner that breaks down how to set a vision for your life and how to break that down into goals, projects, actions and habits that will get you closer to where you want to be in just a 90-day period. And I absolutely love using it. I usually check in around once a month and let you know how I'm getting on, and I'm already at the end again. So I am going to be evaluating how I got on over the 90 days, whether I achieved my goals, what I've learned from this 90 days, and what I might focus on next time. So I'll show you how I break all that down. So let's move over to the planner. So I'm now at the point in the planner where I have finished the 90 days and I need to reflect on how they've gone and see what I can learn and carry forward. So there is a space for evaluating each individual goal and whether or not I felt I achieved those, and then a check-in for the 90 days as a whole and whether I feel like I've moved towards my vision. So I'm going to do that first before completing the life satisfaction check-in again. So what I'm going to do is flick to my goals section, pull out the relevant pages, and I will go through with you what my goals were. Now, goal 1 was to increase my fitness gradually to reach the level of 30 minutes walking per day, physiotherapy 5 times a week, and 1 fun exercise a week. Now, if you've been watching my videos in this series, you'll know that these measures of how I knew I'd reached the goal, I actually changed halfway through and I switched to attending the gym, because I joined a gym so that I could kind of measure the levels a little bit better of what I was doing and gradually increase things. So the kind of outcomes for that are a little bit different. Then goal number 2, I will increase efficiency in my business. And goal number 3 was devote time to support the autistic community at least once a week. So what I am going to do is go through and complete my reviews for each of the goals and for the 90 days as a whole, and then I'll come back and I'll share with you how it went and what I wrote and what I've learned. Okay, so I'll run you through what I wrote in each of the sections, and I'm actually pleasantly surprised. I feel like always when I start this exercise, I kind of dread it, thinking, oh God, will I have... obviously I know week on week where I am with stuff, but I tend to be a bit hard on myself about the amount of progress I've made. And I think this is a really useful exercise in seeing how much you have actually achieved, particularly as there's a big space to write achievements. So my first goal for this 90 days was to increase my fitness gradually over 90 days. What did I achieve and what were my successes? I joined a gym and worked with an advisor there to look at how I could increase my fitness slowly without flaring up my physical health symptoms. I developed a list of healthy habits that I have been implementing in other areas to support my health and fitness. I've been focusing on these becoming lifestyle changes. So when I look at that, I think like, okay, you took a sensible approach, you changed tactic, you worked with an advisor to help you so that I could, I was very wary of my physical health, but I didn't want that to hold me back. I had some times where it didn't quite go as well, but I kind of learned and adapted. And I kind of took a more of a holistic approach. The advisor helped me think about other habits in other areas of my life that would support my kind of trying to gain strength and fitness. And so, yeah, I feel happy looking at that. Is there anything I didn't manage to achieve? I said, I changed my measurable outcomes partway when I decided to use the gym to support me, but I think allowing this flexibility was actually a good thing. Are there any lessons I can carry forward? I wrote that I learned that my body responds better when I leave 2 rest days before another episode of exercise, not including low intensity such as walking. So things like the gym or a game of tennis or something like that. There's no point just leaving 1 day in between. and then trying again, then I have a really bad reaction. Whereas leaving at least 2 days in between seems to be the sweet spot where my body will, I'll feel it and I'll be sore, but I won't have a big flare up of health symptoms. So I've also learnt more about how my body responds to exercise, kind of signs to look out for that I maybe need to pull back a little bit. So yeah, all in all, I'm happy with what I've learned. I learned a lot more about myself through this goal than I thought I would. So yeah, I'm very happy. Goal number 2 was to increase efficiency in my business. And what did I achieve? I wrote, I learnt self-coaching processes to prevent fear and doubt holding me back. I relaunched my website, including a shop, so that people can shop with me directly. I implemented time tracking and gained an understanding of how long things actually take me, not how long I thought they would take me, and I always underestimated. And I implemented strategies for forward planning and project management, and I made changes to streamline some processes. Is there anything I didn't manage to achieve? I said that my forward planning and project management systems are still evolving as I figure out what works best for me. And then under how could I avoid this in the future, I wrote, regarding the above, I think this is natural and okay, unless I do not maintain using them. But I don't see why this would be the case. Blocking out time for planning each week helps with this. So yeah, I think it's totally normal for this not to be like completely right. It's done. You've got the perfect system forever implemented now because it's the end of the 90 days. There has to be a process of trial and error and then evaluating how these things work. I'll probably pop a date in the diary, blocking out time to just have a little think about that, say in another month's time, and making sure I have the kind of regular planning time is really helping me keep on track with using these things. But I know that they're working because I'm reaching for them. I'm not having to force myself to use them, so that's a really good sign. And then, are there any other lessons I can carry forwards? I wrote, I can make changes and take positive risks. I'm constantly learning and using this learning to adapt my business and try new things. So I wrote some extra positives about the things that I've learned through working on this goal, which I'm really pleased with. Then goal number 3, I wrote, my third goal for this 90 days was to devote time to support the autistic community at least once a week. What did I achieve and what were my successes? I said, I attended a range of events at my local autism hub, talks, drop-ins and social events. I feel more comfortable at the hub and more a part of my local community. Now, I won't say I feel completely comfortable because I'm autistic. I completed 2 blog posts and 2 podcasts. That's not quite the level that I said, but it's more than I was managing before. And I connected with other neurodiverse people on social media. Is there anything I didn't manage to achieve? I said actively posting on social media from my Autosphere account. What do I think prevented this and how could I avoid this in the future? See, I was time blocking for this, but what I think prevented this was using that allocated time to catch up on other things and prioritising other goals and other work over this. And so how could I avoid it in the future? I wrote, try scheduling this on free weekends rather than in the week, because I think the problem was I would get my head stuck into something else and then I wouldn't want to break away from it. Whereas this is more like a personal project. Maybe if I put it on an evening or a weekend, I'm more likely to do it in my personal time and not feel like it's competing with work. Are there any other lessons I can carry forwards? I wrote, it's easier to write when I feel inspired rather than at a forced time that I've put in my diary, as long as it's not too long in between those writing sessions. So I think if I set a kind of frequency like I have been doing of like a day a month, however, just keeping an eye on when that's approaching, and if I haven't been compelled to write at some other time, I will sit down and start to brainstorm something. But if the mood strikes me like it did this weekend, I just got up, made a cup of coffee and I thought, right, I feel inspired to write something this morning, and I just wrote from the heart and I just did it. So at times that happens, I'm just gonna kind of strike while the iron's hot. So for the 90 days as a whole, the first question is, what progress have I made in working towards my vision? And this was actually really, really nice to write about. Like I said, I feel like a lot of us are guilty of focusing on the negatives more than the positives. And when something goes well, we kind of go like, well, yeah, it was supposed to. When something goes bad, it's the end of the world. I'm definitely guilty of that. And so I think this is a really good way of realizing that you are doing a lot of good stuff. So I grabbed my vision out of the front of the planner and I had a look through and wrote down some areas where I felt I'd made progress in this 90 days. So I wrote, I feel stronger and I'm motivated to continue increasing my strength. I feel more a part of my local autistic community and have been trying to make more in-person connections. Streamlining business processes has helped me recognise and focus on the most important parts of my business. I'm working towards my goal of financial independence. I've tried to help and support others through sharing content relating to being autistic, and I've used self-coaching to encourage me to be braver and to reach for my dreams. So if I look at that, there is, if I look at the areas, so physical, social and community, professional, financial, spirituality and values, and passion. So I've hit like 6 of the 8 areas. Now the idea isn't to work on all of them at the same time, but the things I've done have like impact on all areas. The other 2 areas I haven't mentioned are emotional and home and family, and you know, the impact of these things will also have kind of secondary benefits in those areas too. So it's good to kind of realise that you're constantly taking those little steps forward to where you want to be, even when you don't even really realise it. What am I the most proud of? I put a business thing. Sometimes I try and shy away from doing that and pick a personal thing, but I wanted to pick a business thing this time. I wrote, seeing customers make direct orders in my shop and knowing that they like my products and trust me in my business. I'm very proud of that. What is the most important lesson I learned during this 90-day period? I said, being flexible and adaptable is the best way to approach working on my goals. What would I like to spend more time on moving forwards? Using time blocking in my personal life too to maintain healthy habits and make these a priority. So as I've found benefits of using it in my work life, and I think I could transfer that across and use it to make sure that these kind of healthy habits that I've been implementing, they're not a secondary thing that if I've got time, I'll do them. Like they become more of a priority, more of an intentional, planned activity within my week. What would I like to spend less time on moving forwards? I said, panic leading to procrastination. Project management and self-coaching is helping with this. How will I celebrate successes from this 90 days? Get my new phone. So I don't normally buy myself a new phone every 90 days. I don't normally celebrate with something so big. However, I am selling my old laptop and phone to like put towards the price of a new phone, and I've been waiting and the time has coincided, so I thought, why not make this your kind of like celebratory end of the 90 days. So I am actually going to pick one up later today. So I'm very excited about that. And as an aside, it will also help me with streamlining because the content library that I created is saved in iCloud, and I'm getting an iPhone, which I didn't have before, which means that I'll be able to access all of my like images and things I use regularly on social media from whatever device I'm working off way easier than I could have before when I was faffing about emailing things backwards and forwards, or like waiting till I was on the laptop to do something later but then forgetting about it. I can just, everything is accessible everywhere. Any final thoughts? I wrote, you are capable of more than you give yourself credit for, as evidenced by this list, because I came into this video feeling like, oh no, what are we going to find? And why did I do that? Because I know that I've been keeping up with things. So yeah, that's what I wrote. So now, the last exercise in the evaluation section is the life satisfaction check-in. I originally did this when I first set up my vision. However, what I need to just grab it, well, after I've done it, because I don't want to be influenced, is I want to compare it from the one I did at the end of the last 90 days. So I can do a little bit of a comparison of where I was and where I am now. So what I'm going to do is look back at my vision and think about where life is today. Is it what I want it to look and feel like? Consider these 8 different areas of my life, and I'll give each a satisfaction score from 1 to 10, with 10 being the best it could be. And then I'm going to make some notes on why I gave the scores. And then I will compare it to what I did at the end of the last 90 days, think about what's changed and what areas I might need to prioritise in the next 90 days to move life closer towards my vision. So I'm gonna spend a bit of time with this, thinking about where life is now, and I'll come back and show you what I wrote. Okay, so I filled that out, and I've also just grabbed my last Just 90 pack. I've got no idea what this is going to say or how it's going to compare. So I'll run you through what I said for the new one, and then I'll look back and compare with the old one, like one section in turn. So for the first one, physical, I scored a 6, and I said, I have a framework in place for building strength and healthy habits. I need to keep increasing and building this beyond the last 90 days. So I suppose there's a bit of hesitation, like, you know, you're off the starting blocks, but don't let it grind to a halt. Last time I scored a 4, and I said, it's only been 3 weeks since major surgery. I'm getting tired quickly. I was working on increasing my fitness, but I'm worried things might now have gotten worse. So that is a good improvement, actually. When I think about that, it has been, 3 months and 3 weeks since my surgery. And when I think back to where I was then, like, even though I'm not where I want to be in the long run, when I think back to where I was then, I am proud of where I've got to. So yeah, it's just a case of kind of keeping up the momentum, really. Ooh, we've had a decline here. So emotional, I scored at a 5, and I said, I feel like I've had a setback in terms of confidence and self-esteem. I want to do more work in this area, but I don't always prioritize it. That's being kind. I feel like, yeah, I don't always prioritize that kind of active work around it. Last time I scored an 8. And I said, I feel in a stronger place, and I've worked hard to understand myself better and improve my coping skills. This is ongoing, and I'm committed to it. Now, I'm not saying I'm any less committed to it. I just feel like things have taken a slip because, well, that's what life does. And I think that's maybe why I feel kind of bad about it as well, is because I did work really hard, and to have a setback feels like a bit of a hard thing to face after having put so much effort in. So, but I know I can get back up to this 8, so that's probably an area that I will prioritize next time. I'm going to grab some stickers at the end and put little stars like I did last time on the ones that I want to focus on. Home and family, I scored an 8, and I said, my home feels like my own, and I feel safe and comfortable here. It is a relatively new home to me. I am working on home projects to improve the space, and that I feel I have better communication in my relationship. Last time I said a 7, and I said very happy in my new home and feeling settled. I've been working on friendships, but over the past couple of years I felt more distant from some family members. Yeah, I mean, I would kind of say that is the case, but also I am not being hard on myself about it because it's been a particularly rough couple of years. So yeah, it is something I can work on though. Social and community, I scored a 6, and I said, I've been working on making more in-person connections. I'd like to try and make this a bit more regular. Last time I said 6. I have a close friendship that I really value, and I've been working on building more online friendships. I'd like some to become in-person ones and to feel more a part of my local community. So I feel like I have started this work in the last 90 days in terms of feeling more a part of my local autistic community. I feel I would just like to attend events more regularly, or maybe other things to try and meet more people in person. So I feel like I've kind of put the foundations there, but it just needs more time and energy to kind of boost the numbers up a bit. So it might be one that I focus on again, to be honest. Let's put them this way around so I don't confuse myself. So professional, I scored an 8. I said streamlining has helped a lot. Continue with these projects. Planning ahead and more intentional. I've been planning ahead and making more intentional choices on where to focus my time. Last time I scored a 6, so that's an achievement. I said, I'm proud of my creative achievements, but feel hesitant about the profit I might be able to make over time. It's a mix of excitement and fear. So I think I'm feeling a lot kind of braver, but a lot more willing to take risks, a lot more kind of giving into the fun of creating, but also focusing more on the kind of strategy side of planning ahead, time blocking, figuring out what I want to do and what I need to do to get there, but also what I might need to put to the side for a while. Like, what are my priorities, because I can't do it all. So I've been making a lot of changes and continue to make a lot of changes to really focus on the aspects of my business that I want to give the most attention to. So I think that's reflected in me feeling more confident in this area. As always, there's more to do, but I feel really happy that last time I had 6 projects and 3 of them focused on this area, and I think it shows. Spirituality and values, I scored it a 6 and said, I feel I could spend more time on personal growth and development and on creating content for autistic people. Last time I scored a 5 and said, some of the activities I did to help others has fallen by the wayside. I'd like to prioritise that again. So again, I feel like I've set the foundations for it. It just needs to build momentum a bit more over time, like with the social and community. So there's the start of an improvement, but you don't necessarily get all the way to the end of your vision in 90 days, like you get to the end of that goal and that's a stepping stone, and then you move on to the next thing. So I feel like this is kind of reflecting that effort that I put in, but also showing there's more I want to do in these areas. Financial, I scored a 6 and I said, use the revenue training I completed from Indie Roller to set goals and be more intentional around this. Don't just hope or avoid it. I'm bad at setting specific figures around what I want to earn because I don't want to fail, I suppose. But you can't not really set goals in this way. Like, I want to be setting intentional goals and thinking how am I going to get there? What am I going to try? Did it work? Did it not work? Really focusing on evaluating what brings money into the business and what doesn't. Last time I scored a 5 and I said, my financial position feels precarious. Welcome to the life of a single disabled homeowner trying to start their own small business, and then a cheeky little emoji smiley. That's still the case. But I guess maybe reflected in feeling kind of bolder and more empowered in my decision making. I'm feeling slightly more confident and feeling like this isn't something I have to resign myself to. I need to be taking control of the situation. And passion, oh dearie me. I scored a 5 this time. I scored a 9 last time. So I feel like my passion all goes into work, and I don't necessarily give myself the time outside of work. So I wrote, I would like to spend more time on my interests outside of work, possibly learn new skills or improve others. So is what it says really. I love that I get to pour my passions into work, but sometimes I would like to, for example, create just for creating's sake, or doing other things that aren't related to plan, inspire, create. Whereas last time I said 9 and I said, I feel so excited about the things I've been doing and the things I could be doing in my future. I'd like to just spend a bit more time on personal projects. So I think I acknowledged the problem was there before, or not the problem, but the fact that I wanted to give it a bit more time and space. But now I think I'm feeling it a bit more. I think Perhaps it could help with some of this emotional area, just to provide a bit more balance to my life. I feel like I've given professional a boost, and it's not about taking my foot off the gas necessarily. It's just about making sure that other areas aren't, like, it's not at the expense of other areas. So let me grab some little stars and I'll have a think about what I want to focus on in the next 90 days. So I'm going to put a star on emotional for sure, and on passion. Maybe financial. Yeah. I mean, a lot of these areas contain things that I'm going to continue working on, right? Because we've got the fitness, we've got the home projects, we've got the in-person connections, we've got the content relating to autism. Like, these are all things that tick over in my life, but I'm thinking, where would I find the benefit of, like, carving out that extra time to try and move these areas forward? I think that's what it's all about. And I think I am going to put it on finance. However, when I come to exploring what my goals might be and where I am going to focus on in the start of the next 90 days, I will give that a bit of thought. You know, these aren't 100% set in stone, but that's what my gut is telling me today. So I really hope you've enjoyed the process of seeing how I evaluate my goals and think about what I will set for next time. I think the evaluation part of goal setting is something that we can miss out or avoid a lot of the time. It isn't really seen as important, but it really is. It's where you like really pick out what you've learned, how you might overcome problems next time, and also like how you realise how much you actually do achieve, a lot more than you give yourself credit for, like I said before. So I hope that it's been useful to you. You can grab these planners over on my website at planinspirecreate.com. And as always, I'll leave a little discount code in the description for people who've come from this video. They are available in blue, yellow and pink now. And what I will be doing next is, when you complete the 90 days, the planner is designed in a way where you can order refill packs. So you replace the essential planner pages and start again for the next 90-day cycle. So you don't need to buy a whole complete planner from scratch. So it makes it a lot more cost effective. I have recently updated a few of the terms and things in the planner, and I'll be releasing a video in the next couple of weeks, if you already have one, just to talk through those changes. They're not major, but I do think that they will make it easier to use moving forward, because that's what it's all about. So if you did like this video, please consider liking it and subscribing if you're not a subscriber already, as it really helps my channel to grow. And if you want more exclusive videos as well as other fun rewards, you might want to check out my Patreon, which starts at just £3 a month, and you get a whole host of rewards, including live streams, video calls, podcasts, wallpapers, yeah, you name it, it's in there. Including our brand new Facebook group, which I'm really enjoying, kind of chatting with the community a bit more and getting to know like-minded people and talking about our interests and spurring each other along. So check that out. I'll leave a link in the description, and I will see you very soon for another video.